Okay, so before we begin, a few housekeeping items for our listeners. So first, this session will be recorded and will be posted online for later listening. You can find the link on the NLC website and searching for Take 10. That will take you right to the Counseling Services website for that and additional information that may be of interest. Secondly, another member of our team is monitoring the chat bar in the session. This chat will not appear in the recording. We encourage you to engage with us and welcome any questions or comments throughout the webinar. Please remember, however, chats are not confidential spaces and can be seen by both our moderators and other participants. If you do want to connect with us to discuss a personal issue, simply send us a private chat and we will arrange a time offline. At the close of this session, we will stop the recording and remain online to answer any questions you have as well. So welcome to the Take 10 with the NLC counseling team, where each week a member of the counseling team comes online to answer some of the most asked questions by students. My name is Charlotte. I'm a counselor with NLC and I will be your host for today's webinar. Today's question is one we have been hearing from many of our students. How do I deal with everything being shut down because of COVID-19 restrictions? It feels like my whole life is in limbo. Help! Due to these unprecedented times and dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic, it has affected all of our everyday lives. With non-essential services closed, leaving only the essential services open, we can't go to restaurants, we can't go to movie theaters, we can't go to recreation facilities, all things that we normally would have been doing. For some people, work and school has been put on hold, with really no idea when things will go back to normal, if they ever do. We are left with feelings of uncertainty and being stuck or trapped. Have you ever found yourself asking questions like, how will I finish school? Or what about convocation? Or when will I be back at work? So what does living in limbo mean? So limbo can be referred to describe a temporary state or a lack of movement either forward or backward. There is no rhythm to life right now. Rhythm is offbeat from the familiar. How many times have you heard someone say, I've lost track of time and I have no idea what day it is? Living in limbo can also mean many different things to people. But one thing for sure is that being in limbo can be uncomfortable. So what does living in limbo look like? It could look like questioning your life plans. Maybe they have changed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. You don't know what to expect, and it makes it difficult to plan because planning makes us feel in control. We're on track and moving forward. So not knowing what to expect can grind us to a halt. There is a consistent theme of waiting. With waiting comes uncertainty and a lack of clarity. Limbo can also look like unfulfillment, depression, frustration, isolation, and anxiety. So increased stress can equal negative thoughts and behaviors. Some stress can be merely inconvenience, such as your favorite barber or your hair salon being closed. Lack of exposure to support systems, the days and weeks of isolation are taking their toll on even the most introverted of personalities. Fear of the future, the unknown, and losing control can cause anxieties that trigger our alarm response system that is in place to protect us. So anxiety is a product of fight, flight, or freeze response. These can look different to many people. Staying too long in this state can lead to depression. Uncertainty about the future and anxiety don't mix well. So here are some examples of what each of these responses look like. So fight could look like screaming, crying, clenched fists, anger, rage, staring, glaring in an angry tone. The flight response can bring on nervousness, anxiousness, fidgety, the need to move, restlessness, excessive exercise, and the need to get away. Freeze is feeling stuck, frozen, numb, indecisiveness, restricted breathing, and a sense of heaviness. Some other struggles we may be experiencing, such as being thrown into homeschooling your children, juggling working from home, and keeping your children busy, or not feeling as productive or efficient. Maybe there's financial worries and feeling isolated. Feeling isolated can be overwhelming. So we need direction, goals, and action to feel that our lives have meaning and that we are moving forward. Long periods of being stuck can equal mental illness. So here are some tips to help you step towards change. Gather info and replace fear with knowledge. So take that time to gather info and gather that knowledge that will reduce your fears. Talk about your fears with someone such as a family, a friend, or a counselor. Practice positive self-talk. So really notice if you get into that negative self-talk pattern and practice with daily affirmations or looking how you can change your negative talk to more positive talk. Keep your mind on the small things so that you do not get overwhelmed and recognize the small things that you can change. So really focusing on what you can control in your life and kind of letting the things that you can't control not get you overwhelmed. So just, doing small, maybe doing small goals. Accept the changes and look for new opportunities. So with any changes, there usually comes a lot of new opportunities. So really look for the new opportunities that can come in your life. It could be maybe taking up a new hobby. It could be maybe looking, going on a different career path. Plan your next steps by goal setting. So really getting yourself focused on those goals. And once we have something that we can focus on, we have a goal with a goal in mind. It gives us something to look forward to and something to work towards. Okay, so be prepared for changes that might come. Limbo is a temporary state. Use the time wisely for reflection, revaluation, and renewal. Thank you for joining me this week for this edition of Take 10. Next week, Sherry, the Chair of Counseling at Northern Lakes College, will be back line answering your questions. That question for next week, well, here it is. I am tired of talking about COVID, but I also feel stuck. How do I kickstart my life again? Join us as we talk about pandemic fatigue and some practical solutions to breathe new life into your days. We hope to see you online Tuesday, May 19th at 3:30 p.m. for the next edition of Take 10 with the counseling team. Thank you for your time. And now we will be available if you have any questions.